Hey everyone, this is Niharika, Crypto Niharika here, and today we are going to start urban sketching. I guess everyone has a notepad and a pen, so here I am using Menorah's A5 size sketchbook, and it's very compatible for traveling. If you check my account, you can see I do a lot of travel sketches. So, like if I go to any place, I sketch the scenery or a building or monuments. So it's very handy to carry such a this A5 size sketchbook. And the best part is I can put my pen here in the spirals, and then I'm just good to go that way. So uh, let's begin. I'll be sketching this photograph. I took this in Goa while traveling, so we are going to sketch this. In this tutorial, you will basically get a glimpse of one point perspective. So it becomes very easy if you follow the rules. You just have to see where all the lines are intersecting. So that's one point perspective. With a lot of practice you can do it easily. Like it doesn't take a lot of time if you have practiced it a lot. So in this photograph you can see all the lines are converging somewhere here. So this is going to be our one point, the point where all the line converges. And if you draw a straight line from this point, we'll get the horizon. So I'll do this in my sketchbook now. So I'm putting a point here, and because I have a lot of practice, I don't need to draw this line. But if you are just a beginner, you can use a pencil and you can just put a line here. It needs to be very light, because only you have to see it. The other people don't need to see it. So I can see the building is starting from somewhere here. So I'll draw the line, and the roof has this line also. So I'll draw this also. Then these are just starting basic guidelines for me. We will fill these sketch with this pen after we have drawn all the guidelines. So I'm sketching it very lightly. Now we'll draw the doors. I'll just put a guideline for the doors. And this is the fence. Okay, I have not drawn any vertical lines yet. I have only drawn these converging lines because these are the most important lines when we talk about one point perspective. So now I'll draw the flora and fauna in this place. Because this place is a tropical, this has a tropical atmosphere here. That's why there are a lot of palm trees and areca palms. So that's why we need to draw these leaves like this. Otherwise, in most of my drawings I'm drawing leaves like the scribbles and small scribbles and doodles. Okay, so I'll just carve out the gate here, the doors, and these are the verticals. And the fence is this long, I guess, maybe longer. I messed up this vertical, that's why I'm straightening it again. They need to be parallel to your margin. I'm drawing a little grass thingy here, and we'll just cover all this with the textures using this pen. So these sketches are really great to do because all you need is a paper and just one pen, and you can just sketch anything out of it. So there are some air conditioners here, and I'm trying to draw them. Okay. Now we have a straight horizontal line here, so I don't need to use it to converge with this point. So this is one AC unit, and we'll put more on above each door. So when anything is farther, when it is coming near the one point, this point, then you can just you don't need to put a lot of details in that. The main things that are in front of the sketch, like the things that are away from this point of sight, they need to be sketched in details. Otherwise, these things you can just do a little scribble. You don't need a lot of details in these things. This looks better that way. So I'm drawing the roof now. And sorry, there are some trees in front of this house, so I'll just draw the leaves. I'm choosing not to draw the stem because it will it will obstruct the view of the house, so I'm choosing not to draw them. I'll just draw a few palm leaves. And I'll draw this tree that is adjacent to this house. Again, because this is near this point of sight, I'll not draw it in detail. So this is the fence. When the fence, these vertical lines of the fence are near the point of sight, I'll draw them nearer to each other. As I go further from the point of sight, I'll draw them apart from each other, so that way it looks more clearly like perspective drawing. So there are some doors here also. I am drawing the top part of the door using this point and the converging lines. And again, you have to remember that these vertical lines need to be parallel to the margin. This is the roof of the top floor of the yeah, like top floor. And because it is in perspective, so all you can see is the top part of the roof, and not the doors, not the windows, no wall. uh, that's why we have just drawn this, and it will give illusion of looking from a perspective point. Now we have drawn a sketch of the house, and now we need to complete the other side of the sketch and draw these trees. So I'm drawing the stem. I can draw this tree in more detail, because of course it is in the front of the drawing and like a little away from this point of sight. So it will look better if it is drawn with details. Okay, now I'll draw the pathway that is seen here. There are two columns here, and there is a rope and a banner hanging from the rope. This is the wall, and then there are a lot of trees seen from this side. So we'll draw them in the textures. Now for the path, I'm laying down a little bit of guidelines. Okay. Okay, so now we can start with texturing this drawing. So because I'm drawing the stem, that's why I'm not drawing straight lines. I'm drawing some freehand lines, and that way it will give a very rough look. Um, that is something you need in a stem. Same here. Not very straight lines. And I'll just overlap this line, so that it becomes a little more clearer. This one also. This one also. I'm drawing these palm leaves, and I'm just uh, using this pen like how to say it. Well, it has to be thick from one side, and then you just have to leave it, and so that it becomes a little faded from the other side. That's how I draw all the palm leaves. Okay, so this one is these are the front trees, and I'll draw the trees that are behind these ones, so they have to be a little less detailed. I'll not do a lot of textures in them, so that it gives the illusion of like these are a little lighter because they are behind these main trees. That's why I'll not put a lot of textures in them. Now to highlight these leaves, what I'll do is I'll texture the background here and make it a little darker, so that these leaves and these leaves, they become highlighted. The texture that I'm using here is simple straight vertical lines. It gives a very beautiful illusion, and it looks a little cleaner also. So instead of doodling and scribbling, I prefer to do these vertical textures. So there are small trees here also. Like they're not small, but they seem to be small. I'll draw some branches. And some tree trunks. They need to be, these tree trunks, they need to be a lot darker, uh, to give the contrast, because we are using just single pen and no other shade. That's why we need to create all the tones and hues using this pen, just the black color. Now I am concentrating on the contrast only. uh, Contrast is very important in a sketch, in any painting, or in a sketch also. So I'm just concentrating on the contrast here. So that's why I'm drawing this one a lot darker, this stem. These small lines gives an impression uh, of the texture that you generally see in tree trunks. I'll leave them out like this only. I'll not put a lot of texture in them, uh, for the sake of contrast, of course. This texture is what I can say is the color of the sky. Like wherever I have to show the sky, I'll use this texture. Need to make this place a little more darker, so we are working on it. Okay, so let's return back here. So when you see the space underneath the bushes, it needs to be a lot darker. That's when that's how it will give the impression of light colored leaves. So I'm going to shade this part. I'll go along these guidelines. Okay, so this part is a kind of over. This is almost done. I'll carve these columns a little bit more. Okay. Because the house that I'm drawing here is in yellow and white, which means it's in lighter tone, lighter color. That's why I'll sketch these leaves in a lot darker color. Like I'll sketch them with a lot of black texture in them. Okay, so now I'm drawing the doors, and of course for the sake of the contrast we'll make them a lot darker using this vertical textures. In my most drawings I use vertical textures only, and for me they look a little more better than other textures, so I like them more. Plus they use a lesser amount of ink. So now here I'm sketching these AC units. Okay, so now these doors. I'll overlap these sketches to carve out the frame of the door. Okay, I'll make this line a little clearer also. Now because these are glass doors. I'll draw these slanting lines to give the impression of glass. I'm texturing the fence. I texture the roof. This roof is basically seen from like downwards, so there will be a lot of shadow here. That's why I'm texturing it. Let's call it out. Okay. I think I need to draw a little line here also. I kind of missed it, so I'll draw it now. Not a problem. A little shadow here also. I'll do the flora and fauna now. As you can see, I'm not making these as dark as these ones because I need to focus on this house. I need the viewer to focus on this house. That's why I'm trying to do this part in more detail. Again, I'm taking help of this guideline. The little grass and wildflowers, I'll blacken them. I'll darken some of these. Okay, now I'll draw the fence, this fence. Let me take a look at it, and so that I know what else